You're probably watching this and you're thinking, hey, where's your usual backdrop? Well, they're putting in siding in our house, so there's construction people and there's a lot of noise, and I do not want to be around and have to deal with that during editing. So week 12 recap coming at ya. Hi friends! So this is my series where I take you through my marathon training for the Chicago Marathon on October 10th with the goal of breaking 3:48. It always feels like the first week of a new training block feels like death because you come off of recovery week and Gavin just turns it up a notch, which makes it a little bit harder to adjust to, even though that recovery week was so nice. One day I actually forgot my camera at my house because it was charging, but overall the run was pretty good. I did end up running negative splits on that one, so I ran about 8.5 miles overall, and I was still trying to figure out the best way to run before Monday Night Miles happened, that way I wouldn't have to run after. And I ended up running 2 miles before the run, and I thought that was enough. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. So that's something I'm gonna have to figure out for next week. So Tuesday was the VO2 max intervals, and I thought that Gavin was gonna be increasing the time to 4 minutes on, 2 minutes off, but I remembered that he had mentioned during our call that it was still gonna be 3-minute intervals, but he was gonna keep it at 8 intervals, so that happened. So the pace that I was supposed to be at was between 6:39 and 6:55, and I tried to stay in the middle, and I think it worked out pretty okay. Most of my splits were around like 6:44, 6:45, somewhere in that region. So I'm pretty proud about that. And for some reason, I feel like eating a big breakfast beforehand helped. Wednesday was the first of 2 double days. I opted to do a run commute because that just seems to work out better for me. Ran 7.77 miles, and my pace during the run was about like 10:14. So pretty sexy pace right there. And then in the evening, because I knew I had my critical speed session Thursday, I did sort of an upper body workout. It was arms, abs, and some glute work going on. I did the calf and hip flexor exercises that Gavin wanted me to do, so that seemed to work out okay. And Thursday, I did the critical speed session, and this is where things kind of went wrong. So on my watch, there were like 4 workouts that I had to choose from, and I didn't think to actually look at the intervals. I was just more focused on making sure that it was set to time and not heart rate. What ended up happening was that I did 10 minutes on, 5 minutes active recovery times 3, but the actual workout was supposed to be 10 minutes on, 5 minutes active recovery times 4. And then I told Gavin, I'm sorry, I picked the wrong workout. For what it's worth, for that session, I did end up running like sub 8 pace for all 3 of those intervals. Pretty proud about that. And I had to do a gym session in the evening, and because my legs were so tired, I ended up doing a beach body workout that kind of focused on like everything, not specifically the legs. And honestly, like by the end of that workout, I just called it quits. I did not end up doing the calf and hip flexor exercises because it was like day 6 of running and I was mentally exhausted and I was physically exhausted, which is good because Friday was rest day. So Saturday was the first of what Gavin calls the volume progression run. So it's basically like if a long run and a critical speed session had a baby, that's a volume progression run. So the first like 10.5 miles were like cruise pace. So for that, I ran about like 9:48 average. For the critical speed intervals, I had to average between like 8:38 and 8:10 pace, because I ended up doing negative splits, which seems to be the trend of the week, which I'm not mad about, which means I'm somewhat decent at kind of conserving energy and really sort of pushing at the end. I ended up stopping my run at a sandwich shop, and then I went home and I took a nap, which was well deserved because that kicked the crap out of me, honestly. The idea of the volume progression session is that when you're introducing the critical speed part, like your legs are already tired, so it's basically testing how you perform at those like higher speeds after your legs already have some miles in them. So I feel like I did pretty okay. This was the first Saturday run during this training block that I was actually allowed to eat beforehand, and it made such a huge difference in my energy, and I kind of couldn't believe it. It was pretty nice. And Sunday, I was actually up in Everett visiting my family. And I thought, well, you know, I guess I could run before and then go meet up with them, but I ended up running around their neighborhood, which is actually pretty nice because it's a good change of pace from running around my neighborhood, because I've run not every block in this neighborhood, but I've run enough in this neighborhood where I'm like, oh my god, I'm just so tired of it. Ended up doing a little bit over 8 miles on Sunday, and I was going pretty sexy pace. Yeah, so about 56.5 miles in the week. I should have been running more, but you know, I made a mistake with the Thursday run. I did what I could and I gave it a go. Other things that have happened this week, aside from, you know, messing up on my workout, was I found out that rock and roll is canceled again. The funny thing is that it's not because of COVID, it's because law enforcement. Part of the route goes onto the I-5 express lane, so like they have to shut down the freeway. Unfortunately, there's not enough law enforcement to shut down the freeway, so they ended up canceling the run, which is kind of frustrating because this is the second year that it's been canceled. I told Gavin, hey, it's canceled, so what do you want me to do? Originally, the plan was to do a virtual half, which, okay, fine, I can do that, whatever. But it turns out that there is an in-person half marathon, like almost a week after rock and roll. So I'm gonna end up signing for that one. I feel like that's gonna change the training plan just a little bit because it's 6 days out and Gavin's already put in my workout up until rock and roll. So I don't know what's gonna happen. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching, and social media links are in the description. I'll see you next time. Bye!